right? So we literally migrated 155 members in about 2 hours. And
Wow.
actually, me and my wife sat at the table and did it together. I sit there with the spreadsheet, and she sit there keying the memberships. And when she's like, "All right, the list is done," I'm like, "We're done? Really?"
All right, we got Stephen on the line. Stephen, again, I just want to thank you so much for hopping on this call. We really appreciate you being able to tell your story. Kind of want to just ask you a couple of questions, but first, let's just hear about you. Can you just introduce yourself, tell us your story a little bit?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Stephen Gallo. I am the co-owner of Lexington Fit Body Bootcamp. Me and my wife own it together. If I'm kind of the brains of the operation, I kind of sit in the background, do the payroll and finances, and show up to a bunch of classes. My wife, she'd be the brawn and the heart of the organization. If you want to know why we did this, so what makes you decide to open a fitness facility, right? My wife was a school teacher for 15 years, and
wow.
she's always been, she's always passionate about fitness, always been in shape. She worked out a lot of the local boot camps in our town, and she ran like the FIA events, those group of girls that get together at parks and schools and whatnot. And when it came time for her to get out teaching, I asked her what she wanted to do. She's like, "I'd like to open a gym." And I went,
Wow.
"Okay, yeah." So we put the funding together, met with FitBody, and we got it done. And we've made it through COVID. We've been open since April of 2019.
Wow, that is incredible. We work with quite a few gyms that are just opening up, and it could be a scary process. If you had any advice for new gym owners, what would it be, Stephen?
Well, it is terribly scary. Let's be honest. No matter how much you can plan for, there are those sleepless nights leading up to the opening. Is anyone going to show up? Right. This is not one of those industries where if you build it, they will come. Especially in my town, we live in what we call Gym Row, where it's us and Orange Theory is in the next plaza. Planet's in the plaza across the street. 9 Rounds is across the street from that. So it is terribly competitive. The best thing I can say is make sure, have your business plan together and do all the marketing and stuff up front. Like, don't just think like, I'll open my doors and people are going to walk in. There's other advice that we can get into after that, but that's the best advice I can give.
Well, that is true. It is. It's so true to make sure you have your marketing, your sales all there, ready to go, and you have those different pipelines flowing in. And that kind of brings me to my next question is, so with that, with you being with FBBC, with FitPro Tracker, what was the impact with FitPro Tracker in your gym? Could you see a difference? Did it improve your gym?
Sure. I'll give you the story of us with FitPro Tracker, because when we opened in April 2019, I had some relationships with some other fit body owners that I met through other events. And some of them were using FitPro Tracker. And actually, your founder, me and him got together, and he was kind enough to give me a demo of the solution. But at that time, right, you're opening up and you're like, this is another expense. I don't know if I need it.
Right.
So we did not purchase FitPro Tracker when we first opened. We didn't do it actually till after our second challenge. So we opened in April, a big challenge in November. And then we kind of realized that our communication was not there, right? So we obviously had some software founded or funded by our franchise, but it really wasn't getting it done. Like, there were, saying it's great at communication, all that. And then we realized we need a better communication tool. So that's when we decided to do FitPro Tracker. And I probably didn't realize how different it was and how good it was going to be, because it changed a lot, right? So if you want me to talk benefits real quick of the things that it changed?
That sounds great.
Sure. So from my side of the fence, where I do the marketing and all that sort of stuff, all of my Facebook ads, all of my ClickFunnels, all of that information that gets gathered flows right into FitPro Tracker, and the integration is simple, right? There's tutorials on it to get it done. So that's one thing. I'm not maintaining multiple systems of where are all my leads coming from. They're all funneling into one system. Two is the communication, right? There's one text message or one text number that when we communicate with people, whether it's from the facility itself going out in a generalized message, or the individual coaches, they're all getting one number. So they want to respond back. They just text that number, things come back, and they even get assigned to the proper coach, the coach that they're assigned to. So that's great. The communication, it solved all of those problems that you can imagine that you would have. Number two is the attrition rate. right? Marketing, I don't want to say like new members was drastically affected by FitPro. I think it went up a little bit, but the attrition rate went down drastically, because the best advice I can give a new gym owner is you're not going to know what you're doing when you open your doors. We didn't, right? When we actually opened with 210 people, we actually only converted 100 of them on opening, which is not good from a conversion standpoint. But what it did lower was our attrition rate was anywhere from 17 to like 23%, because we weren't communicating with the people that were already there, right? After FitPro Tracker, we've never been above 10. It's always between 5 and 10. Obviously, we'll leave the COVID numbers out of that. Now, even post-COVID, we're back to where we need to be. So FitPro Tracker helped keep people engaged is the biggest thing that happened with us.
Well, and thank you, because it's true. I mean, if you have a good flow that goes into the system, like you said Facebook, ClickFunnels, that integration, and then it goes into the system, it creates a profile, then it automatically puts them in a campaign with text messages, emails, follow-up tasks that you get to create yourself. And then it assigns it to a staff member that you were talking about. It almost does its work while you're able to continue to keep the marketing until those leads respond to that campaign. So I really appreciate it. I think that is some unbelievable insight on how you can really have FitPro Tracker help grow your business. And then at the same time, the attrition rate. And that's major, keeping those members. Major. So, man, that is great to hear. With that, so that's the communicational CRM side. You went through the migration. So can you tell me a little bit about the migration? How did that go? What was your experience in that?
Sure. So we migrated actually 2 weeks ago. So not that you'll put a specific date on this, but if it's December now, we migrated at the beginning of December. It went wonderful.
Wow.
So again, I said I have a day job. I do enterprise resource planning. I do a lot of different conversions in life. This thing from systems to another, this was easy, right? The directions you guys provided, which was literally load a spreadsheet and get it done. And then you just literally map the people to the new membership. So as long as you have your memberships in FitPro Tracker and you have your data, you do need to know, what plans these people were in and when their next payment date is. If you have those 2 bits of information, you're good to go, right? So we literally migrated 155 members in about 2 hours.
Wow.
And actually, me and my wife sat at the table and did it together. I sit there with the spreadsheet, and she sit there keying the memberships. And when she's like, "All right, the list is done," I'm like, "We're done? Really?" That was like an hour and a half. Then we had to do some paid in fulls after that, and it was done. Right? Wow. I reconciled. I'm going to reconcile today the last few, but after the first 3 days, I did all the reconciliation, and nothing was wrong. Everything tied back to our old billing system of what should have been billed. So yeah, I didn't have any problems.
Oh man, that is so great to hear.
Like putting people in a plan now, and we can set the start dates of that plan. We can set other things. I mean, there's still some features that I want, but in general, the FitPro Tracker billing system for your guys' first time out, and it is perfect.
Oh, well, that really mean it. That means the world, because there was a lot of work, and there's still a lot of work being done, but it's so exciting to hear that feedback from you. And now you have a CRM system inside of a billing system. It's all in one place. How has that impacted your gym?
It's great, right? We don't have different logins anymore. It's literally, all right, I want to go, oh, their membership's off. Now I just click on them, message them. It's done. I'm not doing separate reports. It's all tied together. So from an administrative standpoint, because honestly, the staff, I mean, they're still doing the communication side of it, putting people in building. But from my back end standpoint, my wife's standpoint, it's made our lives easier.
Oh man, that is so great to hear. And I can't thank you enough for jumping on the call, just kind of sharing your experience, sharing a little bit about FitPro Tracker, what it was like before having FitPro, what it was like after having FitPro Tracker, and now the migration portion of it, because that's really the biggest thing, to make sure that the credit cards migrate over successfully, the waivers, the agreements, and the session history count. So again, Stephen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing a little bit, and we really do appreciate it. And we're continuing to grow it and continue, please, to give us feedback, because we want to put those features that you were talking about where you said, hey, I like to see some other things. We want to get those built for you. So again, thank you. And again, we really appreciate you.
Austin, thank you for all the work that you've done, and for all the other people who helped test this software by the time it got around to me. It worked very well. So thank you, sir.
Of course. Thank you. Have a great day.